Every morning, I cleaned my late father's old motel just to keep it open. My sister, a realtor, laughed from her SUV. Sell that dump. No one will ever stay there. But when Dad's will was read last month, everyone froze, because the land wasn't what they thought. Before we continue, comment where you're watching from, and subscribe to the channel. We'd love to see how far our stories are reaching. I'm Amanda Smith, 66 years old. I've been running the Cactus Inn Motel in Kingman, Arizona, since my father Roger died on September 12, 2023. He was 89, sheriff for 25 years, decorated veteran, local hero. The kind of man people named streets after, or so I thought. That Thanksgiving, 2 months after we buried him, I cooked for 14 people. My sister Linda drove up in her white Lexus SUV around noon, honking twice like I was her valet. She didn't help carry the turkey. She didn't set the table. She stood in my kitchen doorway wearing a cream cashmere sweater that probably cost more than my monthly electric bill and wrinkled her nose. God, Amanda, does it always smell like old carpet in here? I was basting the 22-pound bird I'd been up since 5 a.m. preparing. My hands were shaking, not from age, from rage I'd been swallowing for 40 years. It's the motel, I said quietly. The smell comes through the walls. Linda laughed. That high, bright laugh she uses when she's about to say something cruel. Well, that's what happens when you live in a business that died in 1987. My son Travis arrived an hour later with his wife Jenna and their son Kyle. Travis is 40. Sells used cars at a dealership off Route 66. He used to hug me when he walked in. Used to kiss my cheek and say, "Hey, Ma." Not anymore. He nodded at me once and went straight to the living room where Linda was showing everyone photos on her phone. Jenna, 38, blonde, with an Instagram account that says she's a wellness influencer, was already filming. She pointed her phone at the dining table I'd spent 2 hours setting with my mother's china and whispered into the camera, "Guys, send prayers. I'm about to survive 6 hours of family torture." 143,000 people follow her. I know because Travis told me once, proudly, like it mattered. Kyle turned 17 in February. He's tall like his grandfather, with Roger's dark eyes and that same serious mouth. He used to sleep over every summer, helping me clean rooms and restock the vending machine. We'd watch old westerns on the lobby TV and eat microwaved popcorn until midnight. He didn't look at me when he walked in. I served 14 people that day. Turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, 3 kinds of pie. I carried every dish myself, poured every glass of wine, refilled every bowl. Linda sat at the head of the table, my father's chair, and talked about a house she'd just sold in Scottsdale for $960,000. "The market's insane right now," she said, looking directly at me. "People are desperate for land, especially desert land." Travis was cutting his turkey very carefully, eyes down. Jenna was filming again. I was about to sit down. The only empty chair was at the far end, near the kitchen door, when Linda tapped her wine glass with a fork. The table went quiet. "Actually, before we eat," she said, smiling, "Travis has some exciting news." I looked at my son. He was sweating. "Ma," he said, still not meeting my eyes, "we've been talking, as a family, and we think it's time." "Time for what?" Jenna leaned forward. She'd stopped filming. This was real. "Time to sell the motel," Travis said. I stood there holding a basket of rolls I'd baked from scratch at 6:30 that morning. "The motel isn't for sale," I said. Linda laughed again. "Amanda, be realistic. The place is falling apart. You're barely breaking even. You're 66 years old. You can't keep doing this. I've been doing this for 43 years. "Exactly," Jenna said sweetly. "You've sacrificed enough." The word tasted like poison in the air. Sacrificed. I put the rolls down. My hands weren't shaking anymore. Roger left the motel to me. It's not up for discussion. Travis finally looked at me. "Actually, Ma, we're not sure he did." The room tilted. "What?" Linda pulled a folder from her purse. A legal folder. The kind lawyers use. "There's been some irregularities with the will," she said. "We've hired an attorney, just to make sure everything was handled properly." I stared at my sister, at my son, at the table full of people eating food I'd cooked, sitting in chairs I'd arranged, in a house I'd cleaned for them. You're challenging the will. We're protecting you, Linda said. From yourself. I looked at Kyle. He was staring at his plate. Kyle, I said softly, look at me, sweetheart. He didn't move. Jenna put her hand on his shoulder. Protective, possessive. I excused myself, walked to the bathroom, locked the door, sat on the edge of the tub, and stared at the tile floor Roger had installed in 1991. He'd let me pick the color. Pale blue, like the sky before a storm. I didn't cry. I'd paid for Travis's college. $43,000 over 4 years. Working double shifts at the motel. Cleaning rooms until my knees ached and my hands cracked from bleach. I'd co-signed his first car loan when no bank would touch him. I'd babysat Kyle 3 days a week for 5 years while Jenna built her brand. I'd buried my husband when Travis was 7 and raised him alone. And now he was sitting in my dining room, plotting to take the one thing my father left me. I washed my face, reapplied the drugstore lipstick I'd bought for $8, the same shade I'd worn for 20 years. When I came back, they were eating pie. At 11:30 that night, after everyone left, I was washing dishes when my phone rang. Unknown number. Mrs. Smith? Yes, this is Richard Paulson. I'm an attorney with Paulson & Associates. I've been retained by your sister Linda Whitmore regarding the estate of Roger Smith. I dried my hands. It's 11:30 at night. I apologize for the hour, but there's been a development. We've found irregularities in the probate filing from 2018, specifically regarding the inventory of assets. What kind of irregularities? He paused. Possible testamentary fraud. We're filing a motion to contest. There'll be a preliminary hearing in 21 days. I sat down at the kitchen table. Who changed the will? We're not alleging the will was changed, Mrs. Smith. We're alleging it was improperly executed. By who? Another pause. Longer this time. We'll discuss specifics at the hearing. I'll have the formal notice delivered tomorrow. He hung up. I sat there until 3 in the morning, staring at the wall calendar I'd gotten free from the hardware store. November 2023. Roger's handwriting was still on it, from before he died. Amanda, oil change, on the 15th. Amanda, dentist, on the 22nd. He'd been taking care of me even then, or had he? The notice arrived at 8 a.m. the next morning. Not by mail. Hand-delivered by a process server who knocked 3 times and shoved the envelope through the mail slot when I didn't answer fast enough. Notice of contest to last will and testament estate of Roger Allen Smith, deceased. Petitioners: Linda Marie Whitmore, Travis Roger Smith, both of them, my sister and my son, together. I was still reading when the phone rang. The landline. The motel's front desk line that hadn't rung in 6 weeks. Cactus Inn. This is Amanda. Mrs. Smith, this is Jeremy from Arizona Public Service. I'm calling about your account. My stomach dropped. What about it? Your service has been disconnected as of this morning due to non-payment. Outstanding balance of $4,200. That's not possible. I paid last month. Our records show the last payment was September 15th, 3 months overdue. I pulled out my checkbook, flipped back through the register. There it was. October 12th, check number 2847, $1,400 to APS. I paid. Check number 2847, keys clicking on his end. That check was returned for insufficient funds. That's impossible. Would you like to make a payment now to restore service? I looked at my bank balance, scribbled in pencil at the bottom of the register, $632. Payday from the motel's one guest last week, a traveling nurse who'd stayed 2 nights. I need to call my bank. Service can be restored within 24 hours of payment. Have a good day, Mrs. Smith. He hung up. I called the bank, waited on hold for 11 minutes. Mrs. Smith, yes. That check was returned because your account was overdrawn by $1,900 at the time of processing. How? Let me pull up your statement. Looks like there was a large withdrawal on October 10th. $3,000. ATM withdrawal in Scottsdale. Scottsdale, where Linda lives. I didn't make that withdrawal. The PIN was used correctly. If you're alleging fraud, who's on my account? Clicking. You're the primary. Travis Smith is secondary with full access. Added in 2019, when he'd lost his job for 3 months and needed help with his mortgage. I'd added him temporarily so I could transfer money without fees. I'd forgotten to remove him. I want him removed. Today. You'll need to come in person with 2 forms of ID. When? Our next available appointment is December 8th. 3 weeks away. I hung up and called Travis. It went to voicemail after 1 ring. This is Travis. Leave a message. You stole $3,000 from my account. Call me back. He didn't. At 2 p.m., the internet went out. I called the cable company. Service was canceled this morning by the account holder. I'm the account holder. Our records show Travis Smith called at 9:47 a.m. and requested immediate cancellation. He's not authorized. He verified the account with the security PIN, the PIN I'd given him in 2019. The same PIN for everything. My birthday backward. 8591. I need it turned back on. Certainly. There's a reconnection fee of $295 plus first month service. Total of $412. We can schedule installation for December 4th. I hung up. No power, no internet, no phone service except my cell, which had 2 bars in the lobby and none in my apartment. I walked to the front desk and looked out at the parking lot, empty except for my 2004 Honda Civic with the cracked windshield. 22 rooms, all vacant. The neon sign that said vacancy hadn't worked since July. My phone buzzed. A text from a number I didn't recognize. Hi, Amanda. This is Dr. Reeves's office. Kyle missed his dentist appointment today. He said you were supposed to remind him. I stared at the message. I'd never been told about any dentist appointment. I texted Kyle. Honey, I didn't know about your appointment. Is everything okay? 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. Nothing. I called him. Straight to voicemail. I tried 4 more times over the next 2 hours. Voicemail every time. At 6 p.m., I drove to Travis's house, 23 minutes across town. A 3-bedroom ranch with a 2-car garage and a front yard that Jenna paid someone to mow because manual labor ages your skin. I'd helped with the down payment. $12,000. 2011. I knocked. Jenna answered. She was wearing workout clothes and holding her phone. Always holding her phone. Amanda, we weren't expecting you. I need to talk to Travis. He's not here. Where is he? Out. I looked past her into the house. I could see Kyle's backpack on the couch. Is Kyle home? He's doing homework. Can I see him? Actually, now's not a great time. He's really stressed about school. I heard footsteps upstairs. Kyle's footsteps. I knew them. Heavier on the left foot since he broke his ankle skateboarding at 13. Kyle, I called. Jenna stepped into the doorway, blocking me. Amanda, you need to leave. I want to talk to my grandson, and I want you to respect that this is our home, and you're not welcome right now. I stared at her. At this woman who'd married my son 12 years ago, who I'd babysat for, who'd called me crying when Kyle had colic and she didn't know what to do, who'd borrowed my car for 8 months when hers broke down. Where's Travis? I told you, out. Tell him I need my money back. Today. Jenna smiled. It didn't reach her eyes. I think you should talk to your lawyer about that. She closed the door. I stood on the porch for a full minute before I walked back to my car. On the drive home, I passed a billboard. Jenna's face on it. 30 feet tall, smiling in yoga pants. Jenna Burke, wellness warrior, follow the journey. A Jenna Burke, 143,000 followers. I wondered how many of them knew she'd stolen from her husband's mother. When I got back to the motel, I made myself tea with water I boiled on the hot plate I kept in the office for emergencies. No electricity meant no microwave, no coffee maker, no heat. It was 63 degrees outside. Desert winter. By midnight, it would drop to 45. I wrapped myself in 2 blankets and sat at the desk with a flashlight, going through my father's papers, looking for something. Anything. The photo album was on the shelf behind me. Brown leather. Roger had given it to me in 1989, right after my husband died. Filled it with pictures of us. Him and me. Fishing trips. Holidays. A photo from 1962 when he bought the motel. Him standing in front of the sign with his sheriff's badge and a smile so wide you could see his missing molar. On the back of one photo, he'd written in blue ink, "For Amanda. This will always be yours. I promise. Dad, 35 years ago." It was the only proof I had that he'd meant to leave it to me. I opened the album to check the photo was still there. The page was empty. I flipped through the whole album, frantically. Every page. The photo was gone. I checked the floor, the desk drawers, under the shelf. Nothing. I ran to my apartment, unlocked the door. The dresser drawer where I kept important papers was open. Just an inch. Enough to notice if you were looking. I never left it open. Inside, the stack of documents was shuffled, out of order. My birth certificate on top when it should have been on the bottom. Someone had been in here. Someone had taken the photo. I sat on the edge of my bed in the dark and tried to remember if I'd locked the door that morning. I always locked the door. Didn't I? My phone buzzed. Instagram notification. I didn't have Instagram, but it was a link someone had texted me. Unknown number. I clicked it. Jenna's account. A new post from 3 hours ago. A video. Her in the car, talking to the camera. "You guys, I need advice. My mother-in-law is. How do I say this kindly? She's struggling. Memory issues. We're trying to help her, but she keeps refusing. Today she showed up at our house accusing us of crazy things. It breaks my heart. Travis is devastated. Please send prayers for our family. This is so hard." 37,200 views. 2,600 comments. "My MIL has dementia too. So hard. You're such a good person for helping her. Maybe it's time for a facility." I turned off my phone. I sat in the dark for 3 hours. At 2 a.m., I heard something. A sound outside my door. Footsteps. Light. Careful. I stood up, walked to the door, looked through the peephole. Nothing. I opened the door. The hallway was empty, but on the floor, right in front of my door, was an envelope. No name, no postage, just plain white. I picked it up, opened it. Inside was a single piece of paper, typed, no signature. "Your father knew about the land. He knew what it was worth. Check the deed from 1962. Section 7. Subsurface rights. Someone doesn't want you to find it." I read it 3 times. Then I heard a car start in the parking lot. I ran to the window. Tail lights. Already turning onto the highway. Too far to see the license plate. I looked down at the letter in my hand. Someone was helping me. Or setting me up. I didn't know which scared me more. The preliminary hearing was December 4th, 10 a.m. Mojave County Superior Court. Judge Catherine Walsh presiding. I wore the same dress from Thanksgiving. The $8 one from Goodwill. Not because I wanted to. Because it was the only dress I owned that wasn't stained with bleach or frayed at the hem. Linda arrived in a navy suit that probably cost more than my car. Travis wore a tie. Jenna wore white, like she was the victim. Kyle was with them. He wouldn't look at me. Linda's attorney stood up first. Richard Paulson, 50-something, silver hair. The kind of lawyer who smiles when he's about to ruin your life. "Your Honor, we're here today because of serious concerns regarding the mental competency of Amanda Smith to manage the estate left by her father, Roger Smith. We have evidence suggesting cognitive decline, memory loss, and financial mismanagement." I felt my face burn. Judge Walsh looked at me over her glasses. "Mrs. Smith, do you have representation?" "No, Your Honor." "You're aware you have the right to an attorney?" "I can't afford one." She wrote something down. "Proceed, Mr. Paulson." He called Linda first. My sister walked to the stand like she was accepting an award. Hand on the Bible. Sworn in. "Ms. Whitmore, how often do you interact with your sister?" 2 to 3 times a month. More recently because of our father's passing. "And have you noticed any changes in her behavior?" Linda nodded slowly, like it hurt her to say it. "Yes. She forgets conversations we've had. She left the stove on twice that I know of. Last month she called me at 3 in the morning asking where our mother was. Our mother died in 2006. I gripped the edge of the table. That never happened. Have you witnessed financial mismanagement? The motel is 4 months behind on property taxes. $12,000. She hasn't paid the electric bill in 3 months. The bank called me because she wrote bad checks. Your Honor, I said, standing up. That's not... Mrs. Smith, you'll have your chance to respond. Sit down. I sat. Paulson smiled. No further questions. Judge Walsh looked at me. Cross-examination? I didn't know what that meant. Not really. I'd seen it on TV, but this wasn't TV. This was my life falling apart in a courtroom that smelled like lemon cleaner and fear. Ms. Whitmore, I said, my voice shaking. You said I called you about Mom. What day was that? Linda blinked. I don't recall the exact date. Was it October? November? November, I believe. What time? 3 a.m., like I said. I don't have your phone number saved anymore. You changed it in September. How would I have called you? Her jaw tightened. You must have found it somehow. Check your phone records. Paulson stood up. Objection. Mrs. Smith is not qualified to... Overruled, Judge Walsh said. I'd like to hear this. Ms. Whitmore, do you have proof of this call? Linda shifted in her seat. I don't keep records going back that far. It was 3 weeks ago. I delete things. Judge Walsh made another note. I sat down. My hands were shaking, but something in my chest felt lighter. Paulson called Travis next. My son walked to the stand. He looked tired. Older than 40. There were lines around his eyes I hadn't noticed before. Mr. Smith, you're the petitioner's son, correct? Yes. Tell the court about your mother's current living situation. Travis cleared his throat. She lives in a 1-bedroom apartment attached to the motel. No heat right now because she didn't pay the electric bill. She's been sleeping in the office with a space heater. That was true, but not because I didn't pay. Because he stole my money. Are you concerned for her safety? Yes. Why? Travis looked at me for the first time since we'd walked in. Because she's my mom, and I don't want her to freeze to death or burn the place down because she's too proud to ask for help. His voice cracked. I wanted to believe him. God. I wanted to believe he still cared. Mr. Smith, have you offered to help? Multiple times. She refuses. Why do you think that is? I think she's scared. I think she knows something's wrong but won't admit it. Paulson nodded sympathetically. No further questions. Judge Walsh looked at me. I stood up, walked closer to the stand, looked at my son. Travis, did you take $3,000 from my bank account on October 10th? His face went pale. Answer the question, Mr. Smith, the judge said. I borrowed it. I was going to pay it back. Did you ask permission? No. Did you cancel my internet service? Mom, I was trying to... Yes or no? Yes. Did you cut off my electricity by not paying the bill with my money? He looked down. Yes. The courtroom was silent. Why? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. He looked up. His eyes were wet. Because Jenna said if I didn't help with the sale, she'd leave me. Take Kyle. I'd lose everything. So you chose her? Mom, you chose her over me. Judge Walsh cleared her throat. Mrs. Smith, please return to your seat. I walked back. My legs felt like water. Paulson stood up. Your Honor, we have one more witness. Kyle Smith, the grandson. No, Kyle walked to the stand. 16 years old, tall and scared and trying not to show it. Sworn in. Paulson smiled at him. Gentle. Kyle, I know this is hard. How often do you see your grandmother? Not much anymore. Maybe once a month. And when you do see her, have you noticed anything unusual? Kyle glanced at Jenna. She nodded. Just barely. Yeah, she forgets stuff. Like what? Like my birthday. She didn't call me this year. I gasped. Kyle, your birthday is February 20th. It hasn't happened yet. Paulson turned to me. Mrs. Smith, please. Kyle's face flushed red. I meant last year. What else? Paulson asked quickly. She leaves the stove on. My dad said she almost started a fire. Have you seen this yourself? No, but my dad wouldn't lie. Of course not. Kyle, do you love your grandmother? Yes. And you want what's best for her? Yes. Do you think she's capable of managing a business right now? Kyle looked at me. Finally. Really looked at me. I saw something in his face. Shame. Guilt. Fear. No, he whispered. I don't think she is. My heart stopped. The judge called a 15-minute recess. I walked outside, stood in the parking lot, stared at the mountains in the distance. A man was leaning against an old Ford pickup, 80s model, faded blue. He was watching me. 75, maybe 80 years old. White hair, deep lines in his face. He looked familiar, but I couldn't place him. He walked over. Amanda Smith? Yes. James Kowalski. I worked with your father. Sheriff's Department. 1962 to 1987. I remembered then. He'd been at the funeral, sat in the back, didn't stay for the reception. "What do you want?" He pulled an envelope from his jacket, yellowed with age. "I've been holding on to this for 36 years. Roger made me promise not to open it unless something happened to you. He said if anyone ever tried to take the motel from you, I should give you this." He handed it to me. Inside was a letter, handwritten, Roger's handwriting. "If you're reading this, Amanda, it means I'm gone, and someone's trying to take what I left you. I need to tell you the truth about how I got the land. I need you to know what I did, and then you need to decide if you can forgive me. June 3rd, 1962. I pulled over a truck on Highway 93, routine traffic stop, Mexican plates. Driver was nervous. I searched the vehicle, found $47,000 cash in the back, drug money, contraband cigarettes. He had a gun. It was justified. But I didn't report all of it. I reported $24,000, kept $23,000, used it to buy the motel. I told myself it was for you, for your mother, that I'd earned it, that those criminals didn't deserve it anyway, but it was stealing. I was a thief. I've lived with that for 34 years. I've tried to make it right. I saved 3 children from a fire in '74. I solved 17 homicides. I put away rapists and killers and men who hurt women and children. But it doesn't erase what I did. The deed is clean. The land is yours legally. But morally? I don't know. If you need to use this letter to save yourself, use it. Destroy my reputation if you have to. I'd rather you live free than protect a dead man's legacy. I love you. I'm sorry. Dad? I read it 3 times. James was watching me. He told me what he did in 1985. Drunk. Crying. Said it ate at him every day. Why didn't you turn him in? Because he was my friend. Because he was a good man who made one bad choice. Because I made bad choices too, and he never judged me. I looked at the letter. If I use this, everyone will know. Yes. They'll tear down everything he built. Probably. They'll say he was corrupt. Maybe. Or maybe they'll say he was human. I folded the letter, put it back in the envelope. "There's something else," James said. "That traffic stop, the one in 62, the driver died, shot while fleeing. Ruled justified. But I saw the report. Roger shot him in the back. I felt sick. I can't use this. Then you'll lose everything. Your sister will sell that motel before your father's grave grows grass. I can't destroy him. Amanda. He wrote you that letter because he knew you'd make the right choice. Whatever that is." The bailiff appeared at the door. "Mrs. Smith, we're resuming." James nodded to me once, walked back to his truck. I stood there holding my father's confession. A hero, a thief, a murderer, a man who loved me. I walked back inside. Judge Walsh was waiting. "Mrs. Smith, we've heard testimony from your family. Do you have anything to say before I make my preliminary ruling?" I looked at Linda, at Travis, at Kyle, at the envelope in my hands. I could end this right now. Show them the letter. Prove Roger intended the motel for me. Prove my competency. Win. But everyone would know what he did. The children he saved wouldn't matter. The cases he solved wouldn't matter. The decades of service wouldn't matter. He'd be remembered as a corrupt cop who stole drug money and killed a man in cold blood. "Mrs. Smith?" the judge prompted. I put the envelope in my purse. "No, Your Honor. Nothing to add." Judge Walsh looked disappointed. "Very well. Based on the testimony presented, I'm granting temporary administration of the estate to a neutral third party for 90 days. During this time, Mrs. Smith will undergo a full neurological evaluation. If she's found competent, control will be restored. If not, we'll proceed with permanent guardianship proceedings. Travis Smith will serve as interim administrator. Court adjourned. The gavel fell. I'd lost. Travis walked over. "Mom, I'm sorry. This is for the best." I looked at him. "You have 90 days, that's all." "What does that mean?" I didn't answer. I walked out of the courthouse into the cold December sun and got in my car. James was still in the parking lot, waiting. I rolled down my window. "I need help," I said. He smiled. "I was hoping you'd say that." James Kowalski became my only ally. We met 3 times a week at the Route 66 diner, always the same booth in the back. He brought files. I brought rage. "Your father kept records. James said, spreading papers across the table. Every case he solved after 1962, every dollar he donated. He was building his redemption, Amanda, documenting it. I looked at the evidence, newspaper clippings about the Martinez children Roger saved from a fire in 1974. Receipts for $50,000 donated anonymously to the youth center. 17 solved homicides, commendations, awards. He was trying to earn it back. He earned it 3 times over. James pulled out another document. And your son? He's $23,000 in debt. Online gambling. The loan sharks want payment by March 1st. My hands shook. How do you know? I still have connections. Travis is drowning. Jenna doesn't know yet. Good. James looked at me. You've changed. They changed me. Over 6 weeks we planned. Made 43 copies of Roger's timeline. The theft on one side, his redemption on the other. Contacted Deputy Martinez, whose children Roger had saved. Arranged for him to speak. Set everything in motion for Kyle's birthday party on February 20th. I watched Travis from a distance. He'd moved into the motel office. Put his name on the door, but the cracks showed. He was losing weight. On his phone constantly, pacing at 2 a.m., with the lights on. The gambling debts were crushing him. Jenna posted less. Her follower count dropped daily. People were asking questions about the supplement tea she promoted. The FDA investigation was going public soon. They were destroying themselves. I just had to wait. Kyle texted me once. Grandma, can we talk? I waited 3 days to respond. Of course, sweetheart. Anytime. He never replied. February 20th came cold and clear. I arrived at 5:30, uninvited. Jenna's face went white when she saw me. What are you doing here? It's my grandson's birthday. You weren't invited. It's my property. Travis appeared. Mom, please, not tonight. I'm just here to give Kyle a gift. 43 people showed up. Jenna had rented a projector, hired a DJ, set up tables by the pool. She'd posted about it 17 times. Epic celebration at our family motel. At 6:15, after the cake, Jenna tapped her wine glass. Thank you all for coming. We're so excited about the future of this property. This motel is going to be a monument to a thief? I said. The music died. I walked to the center, started handing out the documents. In 1962, my father stole $23,000. He used it to buy this motel. He lied for 34 years. I held up his confession letter. But he spent 3 decades making it right. James stood. Roger saved my partner's children from a burning building in 1974. 3rd-degree burns, smoke inhalation. He didn't hesitate. Deputy Martinez walked forward, crying. Roger saved my babies. Maria, Luis, Carmen. They're alive because of him. People read the documents, saw the photos, the timeline, the truth. I looked at Kyle. Your great-grandfather made a terrible mistake, but he didn't let it define him. He donated $50,000, solved 17 murders, saved lives. He left this motel to me because he trusted me to honor both sides of his story. Travis stood. You had no right. I had every right. You tried to steal it by calling me incompetent. My voice carried across the water. You stole $3,000 from my account, October 10th. Used it for your gambling debts. $23,000 you owed to loan sharks. The crowd gasped. Travis went pale. Jenna grabbed his arm. What is she talking about? It's not that much. $23,000, Jenna screamed. You told me we had savings. I did, before your supplement scandal ate it. Jenna froze. That tea? I said. FDA investigation went public this morning. Your sponsor dropped you. $18,000 gone. Someone Googled it. It's true. There's an article. Jenna lunged at me. Travis caught her. Kyle backed away from both of them. Stop. Kyle, baby. Jenna reached for him. Did you steal from Grandma? Kyle asked Travis. Silence. Dad, answer me. I was going to pay it back. Kyle's face crumpled. I lied in court for you. Said Grandma was forgetting things. You made me betray her. He turned to me, sobbing. I'm so sorry. I held him while he cried. Jenna was still filming with her phone. Travis walked over, took it from her hands. "What are you doing?" she screamed. "What I should have done a year ago." He threw it in the pool. Jenna screamed as it sank. Travis turned to me, crying. "Mom, I'm sorry. I was scared and stupid, and I let her turn me into someone I don't recognize." I looked at my 40-year-old son. "You have a lot to fix, starting with yourself." He nodded. The guests left quietly, taking Roger's story with them. Linda stood in the corner. She walked over. "He really did all that?" "Yes." "I didn't know. You didn't ask." She left without apologizing. By 7:30, only James, Deputy Martinez, Kyle, Travis, and I remained. Kyle sat beside me. "What happens now?" "The court gets copies of everything. Roger's full story. Proof of Travis's theft. In 90 days, I get my motel back. And then?" I looked at this boy who resembled Roger so much. "Then we decide if this family is worth saving." The court hearing was March 15th. Judge Walsh had all the evidence: Roger's confession, his redemption timeline, proof of Travis's theft, Deputy Martinez's testimony, the whole story. She ruled in my favor in 4 minutes. Based on the evidence presented, I'm restoring full control of the estate to Amanda Smith, effective immediately. The claims of mental incompetency are dismissed. Mr. Travis Smith is ordered to repay $3,000 within 60 days. This court is adjourned. Linda didn't show up. Travis sat in the back row alone. Jenna had filed for separation 2 weeks after the party. Took Kyle and moved in with her mother in Scottsdale. Except Kyle didn't stay. 3 days after they moved, he showed up at the motel with 2 duffel bags and his skateboard. "Can I live with you?" he asked. I didn't hesitate. "Yes." He slept in room 12. We cleaned it together. Fresh paint. New bedding. He hung posters of bands I'd never heard of and set up his Xbox on the old TV. At night, I'd hear him crying through the walls. I never asked why. I just made him breakfast every morning and let him know I was there. Travis entered Gamblers Anonymous. Started attending meetings 5 times a week. Got a job at a hardware store making $14 an hour. Moved into a studio apartment that cost $800 a month. He called me every Sunday. We didn't talk long, just enough. "How are you doing?" I'd ask. "One day at a time," he'd say. It became our ritual. Jenna's Instagram collapsed. She went from 143,000 followers to 52,000 in 6 weeks. Every brand dropped her. The FDA investigation made national news. She posted a tearful apology video that got ratioed so hard she deleted it within an hour. She stopped posting entirely by April. Linda's real estate license was suspended for 6 months. The state board found evidence she'd falsified documents on 3 separate sales, including forging inspection reports. Her Lexus got repossessed. She moved into a condo in Tucson and didn't call. I didn't call either. The motel started filling up again. Word spread about Roger's story. People wanted to stay at the Hero Sheriff's Motel. I raised the rates to $65 a night. Every room booked solid through summer. I hired Kyle to help with cleaning, paid him $12 an hour. He worked hard, didn't complain, started smiling again. By late April, things felt almost normal. Then Jenna showed up. It was a Tuesday night, 9:30. Kyle was in his room doing homework. I was in the office going through receipts when I heard the knock. She looked terrible. Hair unwashed, no makeup, wearing sweatpants and a stained hoodie. "I need to talk to you," she said. "About what?" "About Kyle. About everything." I stepped outside, closed the door behind me. "Say what you need to say." She looked at the ground. "I'm broke. The divorce lawyer wants a $10,000 retainer. I lost my apartment. I'm living with my mom and she's charging me rent. I can't afford anything." "That's not my problem. Kyle is." My stomach tightened. "What about Kyle?" "He should be with me. I'm his mother. He chose to be here. He's 16. He doesn't know what he wants." She looked up. Her eyes were red. "I need him back, Amanda. The court will give me custody if I file. And I will file unless what? Unless you give me $50,000. I stared at her. "You're blackmailing me with my own grandson. I'm asking for help, for Kyle's sake, so he doesn't have to go through a custody battle." You mean so you can keep pretending to be a victim online? Her jaw tightened. I made mistakes. But I'm still his mother. You used him for content. You manipulated him into lying in court. You destroyed my family for Instagram likes. And you destroyed mine for revenge. I didn't destroy anything. You did that yourself. She stepped closer. Her voice dropped. I have a lawyer ready to file tomorrow. I have texts from Kyle saying he misses me. I have proof you're making him work illegally. He's 16, Amanda. Child labor laws. I have so much I can use against you. Then use it. She blinked. What? File your custody petition. Bring your lawyer. Bring your fake texts. I'll bring mine. I'll bring the court transcripts where Kyle said under oath that you made him lie. I'll bring his school records showing his grades went from C's to A's since moving in with me. I'll bring testimony from his teachers about how much happier he is. You can't. I'll bring James Kowalski, Deputy Martinez, Travis, every single person who watched you fall apart at that party, every person who saw you lunge at me in front of 40 witnesses, every brand that dropped you, every follower who called you a fraud. Jenna's hands were shaking. And then, I said quietly, I'll ask Kyle to testify. I'll ask him in open court where he wants to live, with you in your mother's house in Scottsdale, or here with me, and we both know what he'll say. She started crying. Please, I need the money. I need help. Then get a job. Doing what? No one will hire me. I'm toxic. Welcome to consequences. She wiped her eyes. I'm sorry. For everything. I know I was awful. I know I hurt you. But I'm desperate. For a moment, I almost felt bad for her. Almost. Go home, Jenna. Amanda, if you try to take Kyle, I will fight you with everything I have. And I have a lot now. Money, lawyers, witnesses, a motel that's fully booked through September. You have nothing. She stared at me. You really hate me. No, I just don't care about you anymore. There's a difference. She turned and walked to her car. A beat-up Honda Civic with a cracked bumper, not the Mercedes SUV she used to drive. She sat in the driver's seat for 5 minutes before starting the engine. I watched her taillights disappear down Highway 66. Kyle appeared behind me. Was that Mom? Yes. What did she want? I looked at him. This tall, serious boy who looked so much like Roger. She wanted to know if you were okay. What did you tell her? That you're doing great. He nodded slowly. Am I? Doing great? I put my arm around his shoulders. You're doing exactly what you need to do. Healing, growing, that's all anyone can ask. Do you think she'll come back? Maybe. People like your mother always come back when they need something. What if she tries to make me leave? Then we'll fight, together, and we'll win. He leaned his head on my shoulder. We stood there watching the empty highway. Grandma? Yeah? Thank you. For not giving up on me. My throat tightened. I never will, sweetheart. Never. We went inside. He did his homework. I made tea. We watched an old Western on TV until midnight. Normal. Quiet. Good. The next morning, I found an envelope taped to the motel office door. Inside was a single piece of paper. Handwritten. Not Jenna's handwriting. The second letter is in the Bible. The one Roger gave you in 1989. Look in Psalms. I ran to my apartment. Found the old Bible on the shelf. Flipped to Psalms. Tucked between pages 342 and 343 was a sealed envelope. Yellowed. My name written on the front in Roger's handwriting. I opened it with shaking hands. Amanda, if you're reading this, you know the truth about 1962. You know what I did. And I hope you used it to save yourself. I'm writing this in case I don't get to say goodbye. In case I die before I can tell you what you mean to me. You are the best thing I ever did. Better than any case I solved. Better than any life I saved. You are my redemption. The motel is yours. Not because of money or property. Because you earned it. Every sacrifice you made. Every time you stayed when you could have left. You are stronger than I ever was. I love you. I'm proud of you. And I'm sorry I wasn't brave enough to tell you the truth while I was alive. Dad. I read it 3 times through tears. Kyle knocked on the door. Grandma? You okay? I wiped my eyes. Yeah, baby, I'm okay. Better than okay. I was free. 6 months passed. The Cactus Inn Motel became something I never expected. a destination. People drove hours to stay at the hero sheriff's place. I raised rates to $75 a night, installed new air conditioning units, repainted every room, fixed the neon vacancy sign. By September, I'd made $42,000 profit. I kept $12,000. Put $30,000 in a trust for Kyle's college. Travis came by every Sunday. We'd have coffee in the office. He looked healthier, gained back the weight he'd lost. His eyes were clear. 163 days sober, he said in October. I'm proud of you. He nodded, didn't say much else. We were still learning how to talk to each other. Kyle turned 17 in February. We had a small party, just the three of us. Cake from the grocery store. No projector, no Instagram. He blew out the candles and smiled. What did you wish for? I asked. That things stay exactly like this. The Kingman Historical Society opened their law enforcement exhibit in March. Roger's uniform, his badge, his commendations, the full story displayed on plaques. Sheriff Roger Smith, a complex legacy, the main sign read. They didn't hide the theft, didn't hide the shooting, but they didn't hide the redemptions either. Deputy Martinez gave a speech. 200 people attended. The mayor declared it Roger Smith Day. Linda showed up. I saw her standing in the back. She didn't approach during the ceremony. Waited until everyone left. Nice exhibit, she said. It's honest. She looked at Roger's photo. I was jealous of you. My whole life. Dad always loved you more. That's not true. It is. He left you everything that mattered. The motel, his story, his trust. She turned to me. I got nothing because I wanted everything. What do you want now? To apologize. For real this time. I waited. I'm sorry I tried to take the motel. Sorry I lied in court. Sorry I turned Travis against you. I was greedy and bitter, and I convinced myself you didn't deserve what Dad gave you. Why are you telling me this? Because I have cancer. Stage 3? Pancreatic? 6 months, maybe 8. The world tilted. Linda, I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm asking for forgiveness, before it's too late. I looked at my sister, 63 years old, my only sibling, the girl who used to braid my hair before school, who taught me to ride a bike, who held my hand at Mom's funeral. I forgive you, I said. She started crying. Just like that? Life's too short to hold grudges against dying people. She laughed through tears. That's darker than I expected. I learned from the best. We sat on a bench outside the museum, talked for 2 hours, about childhood, about Roger, about regrets. She died in May. Peaceful. Morphine drip. I was there. Her last words were, "Tell Amanda the motel suits her." I told myself, even though I was sitting right there. Jenna never came back after that night in April. I heard through Travis she'd moved to California, started over, got a job at a yoga studio, stopped posting online entirely. Kyle didn't ask about her much. When he did, I told him the truth. Your mom is trying to figure out who she is without an audience. Will she ever come back? Maybe, when she's ready. He seemed okay with that. Travis started dating someone in August, a woman from his GA meetings. Sarah, 42. Divorced, kind eyes. He brought her to Sunday coffee once. Mom, this is Sarah. She shook my hand. I've heard so much about you. All bad, I hope. She laughed. Mostly good, actually. Travis looked embarrassed. Sarah's been helping me a lot, with recovery, with everything. Then I like her already. They left holding hands. Kyle watched them go. You think Dad's gonna be okay? I think he's trying. That's all we can ask. In September, I got a letter from a real estate developer. They wanted to buy the land, offered $2,200,000. I read it twice, called James. What should I do? What do you want to do? I looked around the office, at the guest book filled with signatures, at the photo of Roger on the wall, at Kyle's skateboard leaning in the corner. I want to keep it. Then keep it. I wrote back, not for sale, not now, not ever. The developer called 3 more times. I stopped answering. Kyle graduated high school in May 2025. Top 15% of his class. Accepted to Arizona State? Full scholarship. He cried when he read the acceptance letter. Grandma, I did it. You did it. I couldn't have without you. Yes, you could have. You just needed someone to believe in you. Travis showed up for graduation, sat next to me. We watched Kyle walk across the stage together. He looks like Dad, Travis whispered. He acts like him too. The good parts. Travis nodded. Think I'll ever get there? The good parts? You're already closer than you think. After the ceremony, we took photos. The three of us. Kyle in his cap and gown. Me in the $8 dress I'd worn to Thanksgiving 2023. Travis in a suit he'd bought at Goodwill. We looked like a family. Broken. Rebuilt. Imperfect. Real. That night, after everyone left, I sat in the motel office alone. Pulled out Roger's second letter. Read it again. You are my redemption. I thought about Linda. About Travis. About Jenna. About all the ways people hurt each other and sometimes find their way back. I thought about revenge. How satisfying it had been to watch them fall. How empty it felt after. I thought about forgiveness. How hard it was. How necessary. The phone rang. Cactus Inn, this is Amanda. Hi. Do you have any rooms available for tonight? We do. How many nights? Just one? Maybe two? Name. Jenna Burke. I froze. Silence on the line. Amanda, you still there? I looked at the reservation book. At room 12. Kyle's room. At the empty rooms. At the full parking lot. At the life I'd rebuilt. Yes, I said finally. I'm here. Is there a room available? I thought about saying no. About hanging up. About keeping the door closed forever. I thought about Roger. About his mistakes. About his redemptions. About second chances. Room 7, I said. $65 a night. Check-in is at 3. Thank you. Jenna? Yes? This doesn't mean we're okay. I know, but it means we can try. She was crying. Okay. I hung up. Sat there in the dark office with the neon vacancy sign flickering outside. Kyle knocked. Grandma? You coming to bed? Yeah, baby, in a minute. He hugged me goodnight. I turned off the lights, locked the door, walked to my apartment. Tomorrow Jenna would arrive, or she wouldn't. Tomorrow, Travis would call. Or he wouldn't. Tomorrow, the motel would fill up. Or it wouldn't. Tomorrow was uncertain. But tonight, I had a grandson who loved me. A son who was trying. A business that was mine. A father's legacy I'd honored. Tonight, I had enough. I fell asleep in room 1, where I'd lived for 43 years. The Cactus Inn Motel sign glowed outside my window. Vacancy. Always room for one more. Always room for redemption. Always room to begin again. What would you do if your family betrayed you like this? Would you forgive them or walk away forever? Share your story. We read everyone. Send your real family story to our channel. Your pain deserves to be heard. Your truth deserves to be told.